Everyone, and welcome back to the Velocity channel, where this is your bridge to financial freedom. Today we're going to go ahead and get rid of two loans. That's right, two loans here for you, but we're going to do it in a way that is very quick. You're going to be surprised at how quickly we do it, and I want you to know that we're going to be doing it with lines of credit. Now, if you don't have lines of credit, you don't need them. Just make sure that you have a deployment account so that you can do what we're doing. But before we get into that, I want you to like, share, and subscribe so that everyone around the world can know the power of Velocity Banking. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have two loans here. One loan is going to be in the amount of $20,000. So let's go ahead and write loan right here so you can see it. And remember, yes, we're underlining the loan, but we want you to know that every loan is going this way. Meaning every minimum monthly payment that you have, it's going away from you, and we want to change that direction, all right? So it's going to be $20K at 10%. Okay, now that means that you're going to have $645 each and every month to go to this loan. Now remember, when you are dealing with loans and you have more than one, what are we going to use to determine which loan should we pay off first? That's right, these cash flow sucking loans will trap you if you don't know how to pay them off in order. So let's go ahead and let you know about the cash flow indicator. That's how we know which loan to pay off first and which loan to continue to pay those minimum monthly payments until we can get rid of that cash flow sucking loan. Let's go ahead and name the other loan, and then I'll show you the cash flow indicator method. Now, we have another loan in the tune of $25K at 12%. That one is going to be $556 each and every month. Now, of course, these loans are going to have what? Terms, right? So the term is going to be the year in which they expect you to pay these loans off. So this first one is going to be 3 years. That's 3 with a circle. And then the next one is going to be 5 years. That's going to be 5 with a circle. Now, remember I was talking to you about the cash flow indicator method? How you determine the cash flow indicator method is like this. What you're going to do is you're going to take your loan balance, which this one's going to be $20K, and then you're going to be dividing it by the minimum monthly payment. In this case, is $645 each and every month. Now, let's go to the next one. 25K, remember that's the loan balance. And then the denominator, what are we going to use as the denominator? As that minimum monthly payment? The $556 each and every month. Now, there are some that would ask the question, it's a very good question, CJ, why won't I just take the highest interest so that I can already know which one is going to be cash flow sucking? After all, doesn't the interest rate somewhat determine the minimum monthly payment? And my answer is it all depends. But remember, the cash flow indicator was made so that you can know which loan is going to be most cash flow sucking. Now, what does this mean? This means that it is a more accurate, in my honest opinion, all right, it is a more accurate description of which loan you should be paying off because it's taking the amount you're paying out each month in respect to, okay, very important phrase, in respect to the amount you've been given to borrow. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go ahead and do the cash flow indicator method, and we're going to go ahead and show you. We're going to be replacing these with the answer to our question. Which one is the most cash flow sucking loan? Well, would you look at that? 31 and 45. But high interest rate, folks. I thought you said we're supposed to pay off the high interest rates first. But this one is letting you know, hey, wait a minute, this $645, we can actually get rid of this loan much quicker if we were to focus on that one and capture this cash flow. All right. Now, the 45 is still between that, in the danger zone, so 0 to 50. So, of course, this is still inefficient, but it's not as inefficient as this one. Do you see why we use the cash flow indicator method? Because it's more focused on capturing that cash flow, and that is the key when you're paying off these loans and you want to know which one to prioritize first, all right? So it's very important that we remember this formula. Line balance divided by the minimum monthly payment. That's going to make sure that this cash flow flows into your pocket faster so that you're not paying the banks, okay? So let's go ahead and get into how we're going to destroy both of these loans right now. Okay, so it's very important to remember how you've been paying loans so far. Some of you have been paying extra, yes, but you have not been designating it to the appropriate place. You're just paying extra, and guess what the bank is doing? They're taking that extra and they are splitting it however they want it split. However, when you pay extra, ensure that you are telling the banks, listen, I want this solely to the principal. I know I signed the dotted line to make sure that I'm paying those minimum monthly payments, but I want this extra amount to go directly to the principal, all right? And they may give you an attitude. They may say, well, but, no, just tell them, listen, I know that the interest is feeding off of the principal because the interest is the parasite and the principal is the host. They may just ask you to work there, all right? So anyway, we are going to take our line of credit. And may I just say this? At the end of 1 year, is your investment, is your savings, your IRA, your 401k, is it going to net you $645 each month in 13 months? Is it going to net you that? Each and every month I'm talking about. Because guess what? When we pay this off, it will. All right, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Now, $10,000, what are we going to do with that? We've got it. We're not doing a thing with it. That's going to make the lenders mad, and that actually works against you. You need to be using your lines of credit wisely. Keyword, wisely. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure that we're using our money, that we are making it work for us. We're going to deploy this $10,000 all the way to this cash flow sucking loan, which we've determined with the cash flow indicator, $20,000. Now, at that moment, what happens? You have obliterated the $20,000. Now it is at half, and now the interest is eating off of $10,000 and not the $20,000. Does that make sense? And so, what is it going to look like with traditional banking, the way you've been doing it, versus velocity banking? Well, here's how the first loan is going to look like, okay? Let's go ahead and do that right now. The first loan is going to look like this. This is from TB, that's traditional banking. And the first month is going to be $166 to interest and $479 to principal, all right? So that's the first month. Let's go all the way down to TB12. That's the 12th month. What is that going to look like? $120, right? And that's to interest. And then to the principal, it's going to be $525, all right? So that's with TB banking, both of them. So that's how that's going to look, okay? Now, when you're doing traditional banking, remember who taught you that, all right? We want to make sure that we're having our money work for us. One question for you. In this example, is your money working for you or working for the bank? In 12 months, you were able to get it to $120 from 166. That's a $46 difference. Now, compare that, okay? Let's compare that to velocity banking, all right? Now, let's say you were to do velocity banking. What are we going to do next? We're going to go ahead and make sure that you can read it because I want you to look at this. So we're going to go ahead and go on this side for velocity banking, all right? Velocity banking at month 1 and velocity banking at month 12, right? So if you were to continue with this loan, right, and you were to use the velocity banking concept of every, let's see, what did we say our cash flow was? $2,000? Okay, so that $2,000 is what's going to be paying that line of credit down because you're going to use your line of credit as your new checking account. So 10,000 divided by 2,000 is what? 5 months. So you're going to be getting rid of this line of credit in 5 months. And once that line of credit is replenished to 10,000, what happens? You're going to deploy it again. So let's see what happens at velocity banking. The first month, you're going to go ahead and deploy it. So it's going to look like this. $166, all right? Still the same to interest. But this time, you're using that stagnant line of credit, all right? So now your principal is going to look like this. $10,479, okay? $10,479. That's on month 1, all right? Can anybody guess what it's going to be on month 12? Now remember, with the traditional banking, on month 12, you still owe the bank $120. And of course, the $525 is going to the principal, albeit that you are paying more towards the principal, so that's a good thing. But what is it going to be when you're implementing velocity banking? Watch this. That's what it's going to be. $0. Why? Because you have a system now. That $10,000 is replenished after the end of 6 months. Remember? So now that $10,000 is getting used again. Pow. So the 12th month, there is no 12th month. There's no 12th month. So the $645 actually goes to you. It goes to you. And I want to say that you're out of this loan in what, 6 months? You're out of it in 6 months, not 3 years. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid, because we still got to get rid of some loans, okay? You got to get rid of this 5-year loan, all right? $25,000 at 12%. We've got $556 each and every month that we're paying. So let's go ahead and do that one just to show you the power of velocity banking. Let's get into it. You know, I was going to say, when your loans get into the caution zone, when it's in that cash flow indicator of 51 to 99, I tell our students all the time, you can also negotiate with the banks, okay? That means you can restructure the loan, you can refinance, you can talk to them. Perhaps if they're going to lower your interest rate depending on certain factors. And so you can definitely talk to the banks. You can have that conversation and you can gain in cash flow from there. So maybe they'll be lowering your payments because of that interest rate lowering or what have you. Okay. So please make sure that you have that conversation with the banks. If you need help with that, go ahead and let me know as well. Okay. We have the 25,000. We want to obliterate it, but we want to show you the difference between doing it the traditional banking way and the velocity banking way. So here we're going to have $250 going to the bank, okay, right? And, oh, not at the 12th month because we haven't reached that yet, okay, so that's wrong. But the $250 and over here on month one, $306. Now, that's month one. On month 12, we have $214, right, going to the bank, and $342 going towards the principal. So please remember that just because you have that minimum monthly payment does not mean that that whole minimum monthly payment is going towards the principal. We've got to watch out for the principal, okay? $556 is not going towards the principal. Only a certain amount is, and when you're talking about amortization schedules, which a lot of loans are, we're talking about $342 of the $556 is going towards the principal. We want more. Chant it. We want more. All right? Now, that's with traditional banking. With velocity banking, you have $250 going towards the bank, of course. That's on month one. Then you have $10,000 because remember, we're using our lines of credit or our savings account or even our IRAs and 401ks, because guess what we're going to be in about a year? So really, paying that loan off would be an investment, right? I mean, isn't it a bigger investment than your IRA? Has your IRA netted you $556? Has your IRA netted you $645 each and every month with all that you've been putting inside of it? Has your $20,000, has your $25,000, has your $30,000 netted you over $1,000 each month? What is it doing right now? I think you can give yourself a raise by paying off your debt the velocity banking way. I'm not saying to pay it off the traditional banking way. Remember, the velocity banking way, paying it off quickly. Because remember, you didn't need a second job. You don't need to cut down drastically your expenses and be on the ramen noodles and cardboard diet. You simply need to allocate your finances the right way. This is the Velocity channel. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the comments below. Man, attend our free Money Max account webinar where you can get a whole lot more examples like this and get motivated to get up out of your debt, and we can show you how. God bless you, and we'll see you in another video.